as they go onto the straight. Is he going to make it though? Into the hairpin as he goes right into there. He will make it stick as they now go into the first corner. Alex going back down the inside of Jacob into turn 2. This going into the next right and just past the stricken Aston Martin as Alex is making overtake again from the straight, and he does as well. He goes left into there. Alex with the switchback of dreams, and he's made it work too. Jacob 2 places behind him, now on the run up to him now, trying to make the overtake, and he has made it. Jake, wow! And they now go down off the bridge. Jacob gets back in front onto the straight. Lights out, away we go here at the British Grand Prix at the Auckland International Airport circuit. As he ends running down to turn 1. We have Jacob taking the lead in front of Alex as they're now running down to turn 2. Here we have Alex overtaking Jacob going into turn 2, and he makes it happen as well. That's Alex in front of Jacob here in front of turn 3. Maybe turn 4 that is. They're inside of each other. Jacob's going to have to run on him going into the next corner. Alex is going to try and make the move literally up the inside, going into the DRS straight. Who will have DRS here? As Jacob's going to try and make the move now going up the straight, and he does as well. Hello people, and welcome to the Auckland International Raceway in New Zealand, where I'm sure there'll be a bunch of Kiwis growing on those trees over there to the side of the track. Jacob won fastest lap here with a 107.2, and Alex was second place with a 107.9. This, I believe, is round 8. Welcome to New Zealand. Sorry, this is round 9, and welcome to New Zealand, with 20 seconds left to go until the race starts, and the track water that can change at any moment. This is going to be a very exciting one for both us and our drivers, as Jacob is preparing himself mentally for the race, Alex preparing himself physically for the race as he comes through some of the last corners here. With 2 seconds left, the drivers will be lining up on the grid for this 10-lap race here in New Zealand. We have me up at the top here as we are now viewing our drivers here. I believe that'll be Jacob then in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th position, and Alex in 5th. We'll be watching the race start from this view right here, down the main straight, with 8 seconds to go until the race starts. Welcome to New Zealand, and I hope you have an amazing, I hope you have fun spectating, I suppose. As the race now gets underway, as we now have the light sequence starting. 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's Tonga time here in New Zealand as the racers get their race underway as they all go by here as we watch Alex now going into the first corner. People going wide as it is with this track on the first corner for some reason. Jacob there racing with Alex there for the potential lead of this race as Alex has fallen back a lot there now going through turn 3, I believe that is. And camera now updating as we go to Jacob here for the right-hander. The left-hander, then the right-hander. Now the other right-hander going onto the straight. Alex will be having ERS and DRS here as we now ride with him. And I forget to put the sound on sometimes. So I'm doing that as we now find ourselves with Alex going through here. And it seems I'm having issues with my audio as we now watch the races fly by. There's Alex, there's Jacob here going at almost 200 miles an hour. As we now watch Alex then through turn 1, going very, very nicely through there. Jacob lost his front wing there though. And that'll be very unfortunate. He could go onto the softs until the end of the race, or he could go on mediums until the end of the race. He's on very wide there. And Alex going by the camera As we actually switched the wrong person there, as we're now lagging a little bit behind. Jacob now going through the left-hander. Alex already onto the straight there, as he's going to pick up the ERS there. Going down the straight now. Jacob close behind, as Alex now into the left-hander, taking quite a lot of curb, as he was instructed to, I believe, at the start of this. Jacob then running wide, obviously without a front wing, having to brake a lot more than he usually would through there, and he's going to be pitting on lap 2 as Alex has gone off the track. He's hit the wall and he's almost lost it, but luckily he's managed to keep it together as the Alpine is chasing, and Jacob still behind there, just a corner behind, as we watch Alex go into the pits now, presumably to change tyres, as we now stop spectating and watch them go into the pits there. There's Alex into his pit box, and there's Jacob now also into his pit box, actually into the same one, as we now watch both of them pit for new tyres with 7 laps left. Alex then, as we're now lagging behind her, or Alex is lagging behind, as he's taken a while there to get going. Jacob on the mediums, Alex on the mediums, as they now get out of the pits. We're now with Jacob now, who is on the mediums, into that turn 1 there. Both on the same tyre, which is interesting. And if your audio is broken, then so is mine, because I can't hear a single engine noise going on right now, as the camera takes a second, and Jacob now going through the left-hander, through the righty, as he's almost lost it there, as far as I could tell. Alex now close behind, going onto the straight, as the airlock is into the wall. Going down the straight now, Jacob almost going off track, Alex following behind, none of them have DRS. Jacob now into the left-hander, not taking much curb on the left, they're going rather wide, as we now watch with Alex, who's taking the curb and not going very wide through there. And now Jacob going through the right-hander, through the left-hander, finishing the S's now onto the mini straight with a little bit of a right kink. Going now through the last 2 corners here. Jacob not getting a slowdown, as we now watch him run to the line, and he's going flying by. And Alex a little bit slower, but still going flying by, as we now watch Jacob now into the first corner using that ERS. Alex also into the first corner, also using that ERS. Jacob now through the left-hander. With 6 laps to go, they are very close to each other. Jacob in the lead of this race after Alex didn't do very well on that pit stop. I think he may have accidentally moved a little bit there and forced the pit stop not to happen, which can happen accidentally, as Jacob now sprinting towards the end of the straight, hoping to stay ahead of Alex, as Jacob now in the Mercedes is behind the other one through the left-hander now. And Alex literally a second behind now, going into the start of the S's, as we take the very long right-hander. Now, at the start of the S's, Jacob just ahead, taking them a little bit better than Alex did, as Alex not far behind, but still behind, as they now go into the right-hander with the Alpine inside the wall, as they now go down the main straight. Alex and Jacob now both chasing each other here, as they might be punching shadows here, as then they come through the first corner. Roadblocks not faring very well, as you can easily tell. Jacob then into turn 3, Alex also into turn 3, finishing that right-hander, losing the camera, because that's just for some reason how it works at this track. Now through that righty, into the finishing corner of the S, now through the double right-hander, onto the straight, as we're now lagging quite a lot there. Jacob just a little bit in front of Alex, still trying to keep that forsaken lead. 2 seconds now, Alex without DRS, probably with DRS, as the tyres now beginning to fade, even though they're only about a lap or 2 old, as they're now both going into the long right-hander, into the S. Alex following close behind Jacob now, finishing the S onto the mini straight with the right kink, and into the last 2 corners, And if you hit the wall on the right there, you're almost screwed. And now they're both chasing each other as Alex has pulled off the move into the first corner. And Jacob now just behind him, going wide there, using the ERS, certainly not helping him with that corner. And Jacob is back in front. What an overtake that was. As they now go into turn 3 there, just after the mini straight. Jacob is still in the lead of this race somehow though. And Alex just behind. And he may be in front, but he's not there, as Jacob retains the lead into the S's, and Alex far behind now. Jacob doing very well to lose Alex, and Alex then coming through the right-hander. I believe he has DRS there, as now going down the straight, but he doesn't have DRS, as Jacob now into the left-hander, doing very well there, as he's in the lead of this race on lap 6, which is very interesting to see, as this has not happened before this far into a race, I believe. Now going into the right-hander onto the straight, the pressure must be really getting to them here, as we have 4 laps left of this race. Jacob going flying there, Alex into the pits. Whether that was a mistake or not, I don't know. But Alex now going flying into the pits. I don't think that was a mistake, as he went really quick into the pits. And Jacob looks like he's going to come home to win the New Zealand Grand Prix. But we're going to have to wait and see, as Alex will be on newer tyres and he'll be chasing like a bull after Alex. As we now watch Jacob through the right-hander, through the left-hander, as he's now pushing like hell, as we like to say every race, of course, into the next S, onto the straight. Alex now 21 seconds behind. Nice number, as Jacob now on the straight. As we now watch whatever's going on in the background now, as Alex now going by the camera. Obviously the camera's lagging behind, because I don't know how. And Jacob now into the double right-hander. Roblox doing its thing as usual now. Into the S, as we now go with Alex now. 16 seconds behind Jacob, so he's catching up by about 5 seconds a lap, as he's now on the medium tyres, which probably isn't going to be the greatest choice in the world. Probably should have gone onto those softs, but that's his team's problem, not his, as Jacob now fighting for the actual lead of this actual race that's happening in-game with the Alpine, and he might have got him as well, as we're now going to focus on this virtual race now. Alex, 27 seconds behind. I don't know what's happened to both of them now, but they have seemed to be dropping off a little bit, as Jacob now obviously leads this race. Alex, 22 seconds behind, as we're now going through this right-hander onto the straight. Alex now going through the left-hander. Jacob shows no sign of slowing down with 3 laps left to go, including this one. As now into the left-hander Jacob goes. Can he get all 3 points in this race? We're going to have to see, as obviously he got fastest lap, and he gets plus 2 more points for winning this race, if he does come home to win it, as Alex now finishing the straight, still 22 seconds behind Jacob, as Jacob now onto the main straight, with the Alpine just behind to start his 9th lap, which is the penultimate lap, as here comes Alex now rounding the final corner, and going to be crossing the line in a minute, as he comes through the second to last corner, through the last corner, taking it very well there, as he comes over the line to start his 9th lap, as we now ride with Jacob, taking that turn very nicely through there, into the S. Now, onto the main straight in a second, coming through the double right-hander, taking a lot of curb on the side there. Luckily, he's not spun out onto the straight. Alex now 19 seconds behind, running in last, as he now passes the camera, and Jacob now at the end of the back straight into the sharp left-hander now, and Alex 18 seconds behind. Doesn't look like he'll be able to capitalize on anything unless Jacob makes a horrible mistake. Maybe he goes into the pits accidentally on the second to last corner, or he crashes at some point in this lap, as we see the Jaguar E-Spirit there on the side, the Alpine going heavily off. Alex now fighting in last place to try and gain the position on Jacob, as Jacob's now crossing the line into the first corner, running a little bit wide there, but makes up for his exit, makes up with it with his exit. Alex also into the first corner, cutting it, not into the first corner, into the last corner, sorry. Cutting it a little bit as he's now going over the line there in second place still. 15 seconds behind Jacob on the last lap of this race. Will he be able to gain back some of that time that he lost in the pit stop? As we've not had much fighting this race, but we have had Jacob winning for most of it, as he's now coming down the main straight. Alex then in second place, just behind, as Jacob then through the left-hander. Keeping on going now into the right-hander. Near the end of this lap, Alex is hoping for a big mistake from Jacob here, as he's now going through the right-hander onto the little straight. Alex then going into the double right-hander. Jacob comes through the last corner on the main straight to win in Auckland. And it's Jacob, a race winner, as Alex, for the first time this season, has come home to take second. And Jacob getting all 3 points here, showing how good that Mercedes can be. And wow, what a performance this has been from Jacob, as I am very impressed there. Obviously, he had to bank on Alex making a couple of mistakes in the middle of the race, but Jacob took it home to win his first Grand Prix here in Ion, here in New Zealand at the Auckland International Raceway. And I'm pretty sure all of us are impressed, as it's Jacob, your race winner, adding 3 more points to his tally. We will see you in Abu Dhabi for the last race of the season. And honestly, I think we all think that Jacob deserves to do some donuts for his first race win, as Alex is applauding him to the side of the track on the medium tyres, winning the race. And he's won it in style as well. Congratulations, Jacob. And well done. And well done. I think you deserve the donuts, and I believe so does everybody else, as we can finally add the letter J to the map of the next few races that need to happen. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye. We'll see you in the UAE.